Welcome to the Thriver Lifestyle Podcast. I'm your host, Marianne Bacall, embodied leadership coach, holistic wellness consultant, and TEDx speaker. I'm on a mission to empower individuals and organizations to thrive from the inside out. Hi, Janine. Welcome so much to the Thriver Lifestyle Podcast. This is Goddess Reborn. This is the first season of the brand new launch, and you are here for the first season. I am so excited to have
I'm more excited than you. I've always wanted to come on your podcast. So when you asked me, I was like, that's an easy yes.
Yes, and it fits so well with our theme, which is Goddess Reborn and the rise of the divine feminine, the work that you do, not only in Feng Shui, but in Chinese astrology, because it is the year of the snake. So there's a lot that we're going to go into. But before that, I would love for you to just give a brief intro on you and what you do. I know that's a big ask because you do so much, but
yeah, where do I start?
really.
I sort of started like I was in the restaurant tray, and then I was a DJ to start with, etc. But let's go fast forward to now. I'm a Chinese astrologer to the stars. I'm a Feng Shui consultant to private people, companies, etc. I just had my first book out for Feng Shui. My Feng Shui book came out in December, which has been really successful. I've been so happy because my actual publicist was, don't write a book on Feng Shui. And I was like, I feel it. I know I should write this book. I did, and it was a huge success. So that's good. So I'm trying to do blah, blah, blah. And I am, I just love doing loads of things. I changed my mind. This year I'm having another retreat, and then something else will come to mind, and I'll go and do that. I would like to I have a huge umbrella of what I do, and it depends on how I'm feeling and that sort of thing. But yeah.
I love that, which totally encapsulates the energy of the goddess, of divine feminine, of this type of feminine leadership that you said something really important, feeling it. And when I think of embodied leadership, you really come to mind because it's not just about saying it, you live it. That example that you said about your publisher saying no, and you're like, nope, this feels right. And you went with it. That's embodied leadership.
Yeah.
So many times in my life, people said I was crazy, or what are you doing? Or they can't understand it. It's not logical. I'm like, I cannot explain it logically, but I just feel it in my bones, in my soul. And I was always right. It's that intuition, and it's a muscle. The more that we practice it, the more that we build it, the stronger it gets.
Just for Chinese astrology, we're going into a wood snake year. Now, this is all about intuition. And I've taught intuition from a very early stage in my life because I found it always serves me. Yeah. Even when I think I really shouldn't do that, and then I do it, and then I tell myself off after. So now I don't do it. And like, people have got around me and they're used to me going, I know I was going to come out tonight, but I'm not coming out. Yeah. And they go, oh, okay, what's going to happen then, Janine? And I'm like, go and have a great time. It's not for me. One of the things about this year coming up, it is feeling what you feel you must follow. And as you said, I'm super passionate about this. I can give lots of reasons. I noticed the chi started to change. I always think around December 21st because I love that time of year. But it really has changed in January. And anything that I've been thinking or doing has been from my gut. Absolutely. So, yeah.
Yes. And we're actually launching this on January 29th for the Chinese New Year, because as for those of you listening, I have been working personally with Janine I actually thought about this. I was like, is it 6 years longer? Because it was before I was married to my first husband. That's why I know it's been that long. But I personally worked with you, and your insight has been so amazing. So yeah, let's get into it. For those wondering, actually, a lot of people probably aren't as familiar with Chinese astrology. Maybe share a little bit about that versus what people know as Western astrology and the wood snake, the other significances of this year, which in numerology, it's so fitting because we're in a year 9, ending of cycles, snake shedding. It's just so magical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So interesting enough, I've been learning about Western astrology. They call it Chinese astrology, but it's Eastern astrology. And the reason I got into it was because when I started being an intuitive from a child, I had to find something to cover it up. My mum didn't like it. Yeah, she didn't like it. I remember seeing a car accident with my husband to be and him in the car. And then I never thought I'd be in it. And I told everyone about it. And then I was thrown out of the car and he was in it. And after that, my mum went, "Oh, I'm going to bring a priest in to see you. We've got to keep you quiet." Yeah. So this lovely priest came in and he said, "Just shh, don't let anyone know about what you do. I totally believe everything you're doing," he said to me, "but it upsets people." We're talking here 40 years ago. Yeah. So then I found Feng Shui, which allowed me to go into people's houses, already feel the energy, because every house has an energy, and I could pick up lots of things off people, off of houses, but I could hide behind the label of Feng Shui. Okay. So then I started learning Feng Shui. And then because I am who I am, I wanted to learn about astrology. So the person that was teaching me Feng Shui went on to teach me Chinese astrology, which is metaphysics. So when you say this is going to happen, there's a certain date and time. Sometimes when you wake up in the morning, you think, "Oh, just don't feel it today." Or other mornings you wake up and you go, "Yeah, I can do everything." Well, in Chinese astrology, you can actually work out when those days are. And that's what I do. But I hide, again, my intuition behind it. So Chinese astrology, whereas I've learned this, whereas Western astrology on the sun signs like Libra, etc., Eastern astrology is all about the moons, the stars. So there's 12 of these animals and you're all born under them. And Carmen and I, who is someone I'm writing the book East Meets West Astrology, we're writing it now. And we can't believe how much they come across each other the whole time. I came onto her show when I was doing my first book, Date, Love, Marry, Avoid, and we just clicked. And this is nearly 2 years ago, and we said, "Let's do this." Yeah. And it really is an amazing, it's a tool. It's a tool. And by this tool, you can see what's going to happen in the year ahead, right? I'm just going to be a little bit naughty here, as it's your show, I can be.
Yes.
Of course.
Go on.
Okay. But I'm going to be really out there now because relationships are going to come right underneath the microscopes this year. 100%. If you're being unfaithful, you will get caught out. If you're in the wrong relationship, it will end. If you're meeting somebody like on a dating site or something, and they say who they are, and then you find out very quickly they're not. So what I'm saying is when you're going into a relationship with the partner, always check the background. This is my biggest advice for 2025, because the snake is, as you can imagine, when you talk about snakes, they're not always to be trusted. Yes. So this year is not always to be trusted. So any of my clients, I'm like, if they're single, obviously, really go into the background. Just go, "Oh, he's nice." No, don't do that. Don't do that. You need to know more. Come to me. Let me have a look at his date of birth. Yeah. But also, if you're in a relationship that's even just a little bit rocky, the chances are that it is actually going to, by the end of the year, not be together. And that sounds really very negative. Yeah. But the year gives us some absolutely amazing things. It gives us more fame if you're looking for fame. It gives you the ability to show up if you want your TikTok or your YouTube to blast. It's there. It's all ready for you to do. And there's other people around you to help you do it. So this is what Chinese astrology is telling me about this year. The other really good thing, I think, is also for people who want to change their career or upbeat it. It's promotion out there. It doesn't just come to you. You have to go out and get it, obviously. So this is the sort of thing. Is this the sort of thing you're asking me? Am I on the right track?
Yeah, this is absolutely like a general overview. And it's interesting that you said relationships really is a huge focus. The truth comes out, and it fits so well with the 9-year I was talking about in astrology, where it's the ending of cycles. And one of the things I think I've really shifted my perspective on it is that there is like endings are just the start of beginnings. Everything is connected, right? And something has to end in order to create room for something new, right? It's just the end of that cycle. And we can think of it at that time as negative, but oftentimes, every time I've thought about, even though I've had such huge heartbreaks before it ending, I was always much better after. So I think whoever's listening, like, don't think of this as, "Oh my gosh, the end of the world." Just, yes, there's going to be that heartbreak possibly, and it's going to help you be more discerning so that you can call in what's really right for you. And I'm saying this from someone who got divorced in 2022, that it was hard for me to let go, but I knew, I was like, I just got more clarity on what it is I called in. And literally my partner now is all that I had really wanted to call in, but I never would have known that if I didn't have that experience from my past.
Yeah, absolutely. Going into my relationship ended last year at Christmas, as Christmas do, on Christmas 27, 2023. And it was me that ended it. And after 8 years, we lived between two houses, and it broke my heart. He would say it was harder for him, but I knew if I didn't end this, then our lives would never be better. They would just be staying where they were. And as hard as it was, remember the first 3 months, all you want to do is Netflix, drink, see all the wrong things, rock and roll stuff, not see your friends, although your friends want to come around. But after the 3 months, you start to grow. And I felt that it was wrong. You get into this, oh, he said something, so my normal answer is that. I said something, he's normal. So you get this. Doesn't matter that you probably still love each other, but you're only here once. And I'm a huge believer in, I love to have fun, just so you know. I love all the things. To have the fast cars, I have to have everything like that. I have a lot of cats, mainly because I take in rescues and then find them homes or whatever. So everything I do is generally to excess. And I'm sure living with me was very difficult for him, if I'm being honest. I think you should ring your mum, I said to him one day. And he was like, why? I said, something's happened. And he was like, oh, okay. And he rang her, and they got someone around, and she'd fallen out of bed and she was just laying on the floor. So they got someone broke in and helped her. And he was like, it's really hard living with you when you know this, but sometimes it's really good, because if you hadn't felt that, she would have just been laying there for days. Do you know what I mean? So it's being able to speak it. So this last period of time, I'm just going back on the dating scene. Jeez.
So the advice that you gave about really doing the background check, that's applicable to you too.
This is the problem. So I've gone out. I'm really lucky, right? So I'm in I don't know if this is to do with your program, but we've got a petrol station that goes between two, and it's lovely. I've been in there 3 times, and 3 different guys have given me their telephone numbers. Mm-hmm. How exciting is that?
Energy. You have that aura. You have the goddess divine energy.
Yeah. You know? I have to say, I have rung them. Although another guy said to me, I didn't know what pump I was on, and he said, she's on number 6. And I looked around, he was so gorgeous, got in the most gorgeous car, but I was like, no, you seem married to me, and that's not my cup of tea. But yeah, so no, I do totally agree. I have been out on dates. It's quite hard when you've been in a long relationship to go on a date, I think, because you feel like you should be dating the person you've been going out with. So when they don't do what you would normally have on a date, it seems quite difficult.
Yeah.
And do you know what I found? Although I hadn't stopped talking yet, I have that men never stop talking.
That's true. Oftentimes, because I'm actually I hold space really well, and I'm a great listener. I've been told this so many times. People literally tell me their deepest, darkest secrets. Like, I just have that I have that in me, and with the work I do, and I'm able to like work that with them. I just listen, and I'm able to people are like, and they tell me things that they've never told even their therapists, their partners, and they do. Sometimes I think a lot of men don't have people to talk to. I think women, we tend to have more girlfriends or others that we can talk to. And I hear sometimes the conversations with guys amongst each other, it's so shallow. It's like there's not the deep. So when they're like, oh my gosh, I can spill my soul to you, let me just speak.
And it's really interesting. There's one guy I've really liked, right? I just tell you this. I really liked him. And the universe only put us together on New Year's Eve in separate tables, with our friends, And I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh no, this is so awkward. But it got to 12 o'clock. We got our kiss, and we've been texting since, yes. So the universe on New Year's Eve put us together, which was amazing. But when we were talking, he started dating, and he said, people don't look like their picture. And he said, but you look like your picture on Facebook. And the other thing is, he's found that women always talk about their past relationships, And I thought, actually, I don't know where you get that from, because I found men do that when I was with that person, blah, blah, blah. I think it's hard being on the dating world, but because I'm so happy being by myself and living the life that I lead, it's only if I want to go on a date now. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. And I tell this to everyone. For me, I love being in partnership and I'm so good at being single. So for me, if it wasn't going to enhance my life in all areas, then I wouldn't go with it because I had such a really happy, I had a complete life. And it's only the addition, the expansion, because I'm all about expanding. And I think this is a great segue into, because I know a lot of people, relationships, love, dating, that's a huge topic that everyone talks about. And you said the year of the wood snake has a lot of that. Is there any other advice for those that are looking for love, are in love? What do they need to do, or how do they need to show up to benefit?
Okay. I think honesty in a relationship is the reason for this year for people who are going to be successful getting through this year. In Feng Shui, the relationship area is in the center of your house, right? So this is changing the subject a little bit. But if you were Feng Shui in your house, the relationship is right in the middle of the center, right? And normally you have to keep this area very quiet. This year, if you're going to be looking for a relationship or in a relationship, I wouldn't make it your top thing to do. I would make it so that if you met somebody that they just quietly came into your life, I would look at things that make you happy, like creativity or holidays or things like that. Do not make the relationship the most important thing in your world this year. Make it all about you and what really makes you happy, what actually floats your boat. You know, if you want to stay in and watch Virgin River for 10 episodes in one day because that makes you feel good, then do it. Yeah. If you want to go out with your girlfriends, which of course is the best thing, go out and just party, but do what you want to do this year. It gives you lots of opportunity to go and do what you want.
Yeah, I love that advice. And I know that this is, I also want to stay generic because you don't have people's exact charts, but what are some other things that would bring them luck and auspiciousness for this year that can set them up to really harness in this energy of the wood snake?
So can I talk
Yeah.
for Feng Shui with you? Just a little bit from Feng Shui, right? Where you live in your house or your home or your apartment or whatever you live in, the one place to keep decluttered this year, which is really important, there's two. The south, which if you stand in the center of your house, where you live, is 180 degrees. You hold a compass from the center of your house, keep that decluttered. And if you want to have romance and become famous or have fun, or I call it the manifest area this year. So if you stand in where you live and get a compass and go to 90 degrees, 90 degrees of your home holds your dreams come true. So if you want to manifest, because I'm a great manifester, I love manifesting. And people ask me about manifesting. Oh, do you just put a board up? I'm going, no. You have to do action. Yeah. So if you want to be famous, you have to go and find yourself a publicist, or you have to keep contacting all the right people when you get their emails, or what if you've got some product to sell, or you want to be a YouTuber or whatever you want to do. The South holds that for you. So keep that decluttered as much as possible.
Also like career and finances, like to manifest even more.
So the finances is a different area this year. This year, because I use something called Flying Stars. Normally, it would be the Northeast, yeah? Because anyone who's listened to Feng Shui would go, oh, the Northeast. But I work with something called Flying Stars, and the Wealth Star is in the Southwest at 210 degrees. I'm being very precise because that's my metaphysics hat on. So if I go and work for clients and they want to become wealthy, I have to pinpoint exactly in the building. I was at a clinic yesterday, aesthetic clinic, and I came in and they were like, I really want to have wealth. And it was in the most awkward place where this particular water feature had to do. And I was like, oh, she said, I could put a very small fish tank there. And I was like, small money then. The bigger the water, the bigger the money. Yeah. So if you want more wealth this year, it's making sure that the Southwest at 210 degrees is clear and place water there.
Place water there and have it like decluttered.
Decluttered, yeah. Anything you have around the areas. When I go in feng shui someone's house, say there was one lady, she wanted to meet somebody and her friends got me in. Basically, she'd met her husband at school. Yeah. Gone through school, gone through college together, gone through uni together, got married, and unfortunately he died of cancer very young. Yeah. So she's only 40 and she didn't want to be alone. She was all right, but her friends weren't all right about her being alone. So 8 years later, they got me in. So I went to her house and exactly where the relationship area was, she still had her husband's clothes because she couldn't let go of them. Right. And I said to her, look, I know it's hard to let go, but you're still really young. You could meet somebody. And she said, well, would I? Does it work? And I went, yeah, 100%. If you do what I say, it'll work. So we worked on the relationship area. We gave his clothes to a charity. We put a couple things in there, painted it red, decluttered it completely. 3 months later, she contacted me and she'd been in a supermarket over here going down the aisle. And this guy had come towards her and went, oh, hi, Jill. How are you? And she was like, oh, yeah, I lost my husband. And he went, oh, I lost my wife 8 years ago. Both exactly serendipity, exactly the same. So the last I heard, they were dating. Yeah. So feng shui is very important as well to bring in that sort of thing. You can do, should I use the word spells? Candle spells.
Yeah, you can. You can use spells. You can use magic. We talk about witchcraft here, all of it, everything.
So I love this particular spell, so I'm going to share it with you.
Oh.
So it's a pink candle. I would actually have one of those tea lights. Yeah. And you carve a heart in it and you put it by the moonlight in the window. Then you put a pink crystal. I'm trying to think what the name of the pink crystal is.
Rose quartz.
That's it.
Rose quartz.
Yeah. Yes, it is rose quartz. You put perfume that you will wear. Yeah. So you spray that all around. You spray yourself. And then you repeat certain words, which I can give you. I haven't got them in front of me because I don't know them off by heart. And then every time you go out, yeah, you spray yourself. And then men start asking you questions. I did it because I did it before and it really worked. That night at 9 o'clock at night, Amazon knocked on my door. Amazon don't do that. They just chuck the boxes and then you just get a text saying it's with you. Yeah. The most gorgeous guy was standing there and I thought, oh my goodness, this is a bit quick. And he went, I was worried you'd go out in the dark, so I've given you your parcel, which was really nice. But within 2 days, I had 3 guys asking me out. So it works. So I'm very much into the magic stuff.
Oh, of course. I think that's the thing. Like, what people don't realize is all these, from astrology to feng shui to spell, they all deal with energy and they're all tools that we can use to really enhance and expand our life. I love it. I saw recently a meme that people are like, people believe in Wi-Fi, but they can't believe in energy, frequency, and magic. It's the same thing. They're like, I can't see spells and magic. I'm like, you can't see Wi-Fi, but yet you believe in it and it works for you. And I just found that funny because it's all energy. So whoever's listening, if you're like, oh yeah, that's how it works. I'm seeing.
My favorite movie for many reasons is Practical Magic. And when she lets the leaf and puts the blue and the red eye and everything in lavender by the door, I really do believe in it because whereas you said Wi-Fi, when I've had conversations with people, why will this work? Yeah. When they say to you, does it really work? I go, when someone sends you a text into the ether, how does it know to go to your phone?
Yeah.
Because there's a million phones. And I know that number is alleged to you, but that is just going around in the air and then goes, oh, that's Janine's phone. Okay, here we go.
Exactly.
It's that quick. And that's the way the universe will answer us. It can answer us that quick. If you send a message from your next door neighbor sitting to your phone, it's there. You have to believe, I believe.
Mm-hmm. I ask for signs. I get it all the time. And I think it's that self-concept. You said something earlier, like, I'm just lucky. I have that belief too. And I know, like, on TikTok, everyone's like lucky girl syndrome. It's literally, if you believe that, that's what happens in your life. I just have this expectation that I'm lucky. Everything always works out for me. That's a mantra that I always say. Life just gets better and better. And my life is full of magic. And it literally shows up that way.
All the time. And I totally believe you. I remember this one other story. I like my cars, right? I was with Roger and I went, it's the perfect day to go and get my Range Rover. And he was like, oh, okay. So he goes to the Range Rover garage, 30 cars. The car I wanted was right in the corner behind 5 cars. The salesman goes, oh, we've got 3 others like that. And Roger went, it's not going to work, mate. That's the one she wants. Even though you might as well bring it now. You won't sell her anything else. Because I knew, even just walking into that car, that all the cars in the garage, that the one right over there was my car, because it just was like, it was grey like everyone else's, but I knew it was mine, and it was mine as it happens. But it's about actually trusting it. And this year coming that we are just starting, especially between May 5th and June the 6th, there's a heck of a lot of real intuition out there you can tap into. It's like it's peaking around the fire months, which is May and June. I urge people to trust what they do. I really do. People say, write something in an envelope and then see if it happens. If that's the way to do it, so that you continually do it, then that's a great thing.
Are you ready to thrive, not just survive, in your life, leadership, or career? At Thriver Lifestyle, we believe thriving isn't just about success. It's about alignment, vitality, and creating a lasting impact. For women leaders, our coaching programs are designed for high-achieving, busy women who are ready to reclaim their power. If you're feeling burnt out or disconnected, we guide you to transform stress into flow and burnout into balance. Through somatic practices, breathwork, and mindfulness, we empower you to lead with authenticity, confidence, and vitality. For corporations, Thriver Lifestyle helps forward-thinking organizations cultivate thriving workplace cultures. We created customized wellness programs that foster employee well-being, build resilience, and improve morale, unlocking the full potential of your team and company. Whether you're an individual ready to transform or an organization ready to evolve, Thriver Lifestyle is here to help you thrive. Visit thriverlifestyle.com today to learn more and schedule a consultation. Because thriving is more than just a goal, it's a way of life. Yeah. I think that's the thing with manifesting, is that people think there's just one way, but there's lots of different ways to reach the point. It's the energy that you have behind it. It's the belief. It's the emotion that you have behind it. It's the trust that it'll appear to you. You can script, you can do, I love sex magic and like other ways that are more like embodied, because our body and our senses feel. So
You need to tell me more about sex magic. What's that?
it's really capturing that energy of your orgasms and like really thinking about being in it. And it's, when I picture it, it's like a rocket ship. You build up all that energy and then you shoot it out into the void. It's, instead of sending a message in, okay, here's a little, I don't know, like ship that goes to carry this message, you're sending a rocket ship on that life force energy fuel.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Must try it then.
Yeah. So for the wood snake, because there's a lot of people that don't know that there's elements involved, what is it about it that is different from other Year of the Snakes?
Okay, there's 5 elements, which everybody should know: fire, earth, metal, water, wood. And in Chinese astrology, there's 12 animals. When you're born, at the Chinese say at 1, 60 years time, a 60-year cycle would be the wood snake again. Okay, 60 years was 1965. So you can go back to 1965, and see what happens in 1965, and that you'll have the energy. So last year was the wood dragon, and it showed up war, which we know it was, and it showed up different years that were wood. So point of conversation is different elements for different snakes. So the wood snake, a snake in its own element is fire, okay, and it's a wood snake. So wood nourishes fire. So it's a very explosive energy. So yes, it is a sex energy. Let's be honest with that, actually, because it's this, in Chinese astrology we call it salty pool. It's this going with a partner to a party or whatever and seeing someone else you like. Yeah. And then maybe getting together or maybe getting together later or whatever. So that's the energy of the year for the relationships.
Mhm.
Again, I said, if you want to be famous, this is a year to be famous. It's a 9, which is fame. And it's a really good year. So we shall see. Interesting thinking about it, we will see a lot more famous people having affairs with each other and things like that. It's going to be even more naughty. Yeah. So if you want to be famous, if you're writing a book, want your own YouTube should explode even more.
Ooh.
I always say to people say, oh, I really want to be on TV, Janine, and that. I go, you have your own TV channel just sitting there.
Mhm.
YouTube is your own TV channel. Just
Yeah.
get on it and start using it. And they're like, oh, I never thought of it that way. They're waiting for a local TV station to say, oh, you're so important, come here. Yeah. But it isn't. You can hold your audience much longer on a YouTube station. Hence, this year I'm YouTubing more than I have before.
Yeah, I'm relaunching the podcast and it's getting relaunched on YouTube. Yeah, it every time I talk to you about things that are happening, I'm like, I'm so aligned with the energies. It's like such great validation.
I know. I was listening to someone saying, oh, do you use TikTok? I do, but I don't use it enough. And then my daughter-in-law said, Mum, that TikTok's not going to be around for much longer. And I was like, why? Why will it be around? Do you think it will be around? What's it like in America?
Supposedly it's getting banned on the 19th, but I think it's going to stay. And like anything, if there's one, I come from the viewpoint because I'm an avid TikTok user that it's the platform that has helped raise collective consciousness. A lot of information has been shared there that isn't shared on regular media, and it's helping people really wake up to a lot of truths directly from from the sources. And I think that's why the government wants to silence it because they can't control it. But the truth is bound to come out. And like you said, this is the year with,
Oh, yeah. Nothing will go unhidden.
yeah.
Nothing's going unhidden. If you do, the words you use in life, I listen to the 4 Agreements. Yeah.
Mhm.
The book, plugging all these people. I hope they appreciate it. And in the 4 Agreements, the first thing is that we have magic with our words. We can create things, we can make things good for people, or we can make their life horrible. Like it says in there, mother said that her had a bad day and her daughter was singing, and she turned around and went, oh, you've got a horrible voice. And that child for the rest of her life thought she had a horrible voice, but it was just her mum having a bad day. Yeah. So I'm about what you say has to be nice. Yeah. I believe in that. But the other things we haven't talked about in manifesting. So my manifest, when what I manifest happens, even if it's a car parking space,
Mhm.
I always say thank you, because
Yeah.
gratitude is a massive part of manifesting.
I agree. I agree. And and I think of it this way, it's like when you give a gift to someone, when they're appreciative of it, it makes you happy and it makes you want to give more,
Yeah.
right? As opposed to if you had gave a gift to someone, they're like, what, that's it? That's what people say, right? Only this is it. I wanted more. Imagine if you gave a gift to someone, you really, yeah, it's for you. And they're like, oh, that's it. Why didn't I get this instead? Like, you don't want to give someone that gift anymore. You don't want to keep giving. So, absolutely. That's just like consistent, just gratitude for life. When it comes to that, you talked a lot about like relationships, manifesting. Can we talk a little bit about wealth and then health and how that affects people this year?
Health. The big show that I've been studying that we have to look after our lungs. Yeah. It's about that, a lot of colds, a lot of things like that around. It's making sure you're fit in that way. It's about drinking a good amount of water, balancing what you're drinking, but also active every day.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that's coming out of it is that. Plus, this is going to sound really weird, skin, right? So it's about like skin allergies. But these skin allergies can be being brought on by stress. I think the world is very stressy. I think that anxiety and stress for everything that we now see brings out the different things that are in us, which makes us eat too much sugar. It makes us drink too much, which makes us eat too much. Yeah. So I think the overindulgence comes from the fact that everything's on show. And this year it's going to be just as much, if more. On saying that, the year after is a big year. It's a fire horse. So it's going to be that. But this year's like the build up to it. So it will uncover things and then they will really explode in 2026. But if you're good, you're just doing all the good stuff, you're fine.
Yeah. I think this is what, when people hear, oh, what's to come, they think of it as, oh, no, this is going to happen. I think what people need to understand is that you have sovereignty over your life. So the information that comes out, it's like, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to play victim and be like, oh, this is going to be a horrible year for me? If you think that way, then it is, because you already thought it and that's what's going to happen. Right. But if you take it with like, all right, this is a possibility. What can I do? Because I'm still the co-creator of my life, to see it either as a learning lesson or do things to counter that so that it doesn't happen. Like when you take ownership of that, and really, that's really what the definition of a thriver is. Because I talk about in my TED Talk, you're either a victim, survivor, or thriver. Thriver is someone that like flourishes despite adversity or what's being thrown at them, because it's a mindset. It's a level of consciousness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that you have years like that. So my 2023 was, my mum was dying. My mum died. I broke up with my boyfriend and all this sort of thing. Seems really weird saying boyfriend. Hey, 8 years together. And I realized my mum dying was a catalyst, because she had always been there and been quite a dominant woman, and your mum, so you do all you can for them, don't you? And this freedom that I got over the adversity and the ability to come out the other side, because when you end a relationship or relationships ended on you, you have all this, what do they say, what the friends saying, what's this, what are they doing, oh, it's really awkward if you go out, all this. Yeah. But what you're saying on thriving is remember why you did it, and that you did it because you wanted this out of your life. Now go get it. Just go and get it and have the life that you want. And I truly believe I live that life personally, because when the things do go down, obviously they're not nice, but it's, if you stay down there, it's a choice, isn't it? It's a choice. You can choose, okay, I'm going to be happy today, or everything's going wrong. Oh, what am I going to do? It's all that. You can have to choose. You can, I had a phone call. This is random, but I had this phone call. This kitten cat had been thrown out and had kittens and taken into a rescue centre. The kittens all been found homes, but they couldn't find a proper home for this cat, but knew that I took in street cats. Yeah. Because they're a special sort of cat. They're, I always think of myself as a bit of an alley cat, a street cat. One of my boyfriends says you're like an alley cat with a cat flap. As long as you can come in, have some milk and do that, and then you can go, you're fine. But if you're told you've got to stay in, you're completely different. Anyway, going past this particular alley cat that I've got, street cat that I've got at the moment, they were having massive troubles with. And I thought about it and thought, yeah, you've got this strong individual in the cat's body, an energy, should we say, in a cat's body. And it's suddenly been out on the streets for 18 months, had kittens, and it's being told it's got to stay in the house. How's it going to feel? Yeah, it's going to feel. And like any energies like that. So my decision was that I will give her the space that she needed. But if she wanted to come to me, then she knew. But every time I went past, I used to go, hi, like this, and walk past, yeah? Didn't touch her. But she don't want that, does she? So I think that's a really important thing to know, is give people the space to grow into who they can be. And by the way, now she's completely different. When I say hi, she says hi back.
I love that.
In a meow way.
And I think that's such a great analogy, because you also know I'm also a cat lady. I love cats. And I think they can, and cats are so magical. They're so magical, so intuitive. My Simba passed away in April, which is so heartbreaking to me. I have Missy now, but they were both my familiars. They felt my energy too. They were there when I needed, through pain and heartbreak, they were there. Like they can in tune to that energy and help transmute it. So we have to think of things like that in our lives, the energy. I think that all goes back to like, how do we live with that energy? How do we also move with that energy? How do we use that energy to our advantage? thinking of the energy of this year in terms of astrology and feng shui, what are some things that will help increase our luck and auspiciousness? What is it? Colors? Maybe what number? What things that
the color is red, probably as much as your lipstick is, actually.
What's my favorite? It's red.
It's so for me, color is quite important to wear out, shall we say? Yeah, you can use color in a room, but it's not activating, so it's not doing as much as it is. Bringing out the color red, making your decisions in January, and I say this very definitely, about what you want out of life, yeah? What you genuinely want, right? So, like my clients, they make their list, and after they've made their list, they have to then put the actions to do what they want to be. So I'll give you an example. I can't now off my head. Oh yeah, I got someone who wants to be really famous, right? And they're very good, and they nearly made it to a TV program over here. And I can't say what it is because they might go for it next year. And they just got pipped at the post. And she didn't tell me because she said I wasn't allowed to tell anyone, but I was getting you to do all the things. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. This year you can go forward, right? But all this year is about being very focused on what you want. Now, I know you say that every year. Oh yeah, New Year's resolution. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to do this. But be focused on it because you have the energy of the year that will allow you to get it. So it's not like making a silly thing like I'm not going to eat chocolate, which actually isn't a silly thing because I love chocolate, but something that you want to do that's good for you because it's about you this year. As I always say about you, you're a disruptor. That's what I call you, don't I, Mel? You're a disruptor, yeah? So you will always disrupt to make things work. That's your way, yeah? And I think for just in general, if you can do a manifest board so you know what you want, but then put things all over it to get what you want. And the best thing, if you want to have a better job than you've got, put down what job you'd like to do. Who could help you get that job? Yeah. Who do you know that can do that for you? Because there's helpful people around this year. So people will help you. Yeah. If you want more wealth this year, it's not about investing because the snake is very good. Many people employ snakes if they're doing accountancy. Okay. So they can do spreadsheets, this sort of thing. They're very good with figures. They can make money out of literally having nothing. So the best thing to do is work within a budget. What you earn, what you need to earn more for, what you can do. Now, with me, that won't work because I am one of these people, if I want to have something, I'll go and do it and then work out how I'm going to do it after. But this year, I'm going to take on board what the energy of the year is. And it's about planning. I want to go to Chicago this year for my birthday. So I'm looking at all things to go to Chicago. I wanted to go to Boston last year because I wanted to go to Salem. By the way, Salem did not let it down. It was amazing. Yeah. Have you been to Salem?
Oh, I haven't yet.
Yeah. I went in September and then my birthday is in October. So 2 days later it was October and then the whole of America descended onto Salem. So I got it just before everybody made it holiday season and it was amazing. So it's about, okay, I want to go to Chicago. So rather than go work out now, and there are so many deals out there because people want to sell things, look in the back end of things. Don't just buy, actually shop around and then go back to the original person and go, what can you do this for? Or someone else, because there's always a better buy out there. Do not go at face value. If someone says, I can get you to Chicago for £1,000, be sure someone could do it there for £800. So it's about being smart with wealth. The other year I said something which was really good, which was side hustles. I think it's harder to have a side hustle now. I think you have 2 jobs, unfortunately, if you have to have 2 jobs. But people have, because of 2019, 2020, without using that word, I think people were working from home and trying to have something else. What I say is what you're good at, what people know you for, stick to that and be better.
I feel that energy too. It's really focused. And this year I turned 40. It's my 40s. It's the ushering the new decade. And I'm so excited. Like my theme is overflowing, flourishing, feminine, fabulous. And I think you just added another F, focused. Like it really is my year of focusing in on what I built, on what I spent the last decade building. So yeah, I think that's a message to everyone out there that even though the theme is the goddess rebirth or reborn, that we're not reborn from nothing. Like every time we go through a cycle, we go through the experiences that we have, we're able to learn. I told someone recently, you're not really starting from scratch because you have your experience from before. So it's building on that.
But it's building on what you want to do. Mm-hmm. I know life doesn't always make it so easy, but I believe this year, step by step, you can get what you want. And for my clients and my followers, that is what I'm saying. What do you want? What's the steps towards getting what you want? Let's not just get bored of it in January and stick a board up there and go, oh, that's it. No, let's see what the steps are. What month you've got to do this? What month you've got to do that? This is not the way I work, by the way, but this is the way the wood snake works. And so I'm taking it on board and I am going to do just what the wood snake says. And that's be analytical, but saying that, analytical on what I've got to do. But if it starts to feel wrong because the intuition comes in, then obviously back off. But have an absolute what you want to do dream.
Yeah. And I love that, like with working with you, I get my exact dates and auspicious dates, which for people who don't know, like when you actually do your readings with Janine and the sessions, she guides you on exact dates. So I actually plug in all these dates and I send her, I plan my launches, I plan things around my auspicious dates. It's been so amazing working with that energy. And how else if someone is interested in working with you, Janine, Feng Shui, getting your book, booking a session, how can they do that? Because there's so much knowledge in the individual once you actually know their birthday, birth time. Like this is such a generalization, but I think getting the key thing.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm generalizing, but all of us have our own positive chi and how we use it is a different thing. So obviously I'm Janine Lowe, and so www.janinelowe.co.uk is my website. But my books are out on Amazon, which is a great one. Date, Love, Marry, Avoid. Great one to get your partner for Valentine's Day, which is all about who you should be, who you shouldn't be with, and why you should and what sort of dates you should go on. And then my new one, which actually launched just in January in America, which is Feng Shui Your Way to Abundance. Because for me, wealth is abundance, but abundance is literally anything that makes you happy. As much as I had the word wealth when I do the thing, abundance to me is a bigger word than wealth. Mm-hmm. Because you can ask for more.
Yeah.
And then I've got a Facebook. There's about 250k people follow me, and it's just Janine Lowe Feng Shui.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm. Last words of advice or wisdom or anything that you'd like to share?
Follow your intuition in 2025. It will not let you down. Say thank you when it gives you what you want. And you have a real opportunity to have the year that you want. It's inside you. You don't need anyone else. You can do it. I proved it last year. So follow me.
Love it. Thank you so much, Janine. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the Thriver Lifestyle Podcast. Sisters, are you ready to reclaim your wild, sacred, feminine power? Join us for Savage Feminine Reclamation, an intimate, luxurious, and transformative retreat happening September 22 to 27, 2025 in Tulum, Mexico. This isn't just a retreat. It's a sacred 5-day journey into the heart of your divine feminine essence. Through powerful embodiment practices, rituals, and deep connections with nature, you'll shed old layers, awaken your inner goddess, and step into your fullest power, while also enjoying time to explore Tulum's famous cenotes and white sand beaches. Space is extremely limited to ensure a deeply personalized and transformative experience. Don't wait, there's only 10 spots available. Secure your spot now and give yourself the reclamation your soul has been craving. Visit thriverlifestyle.com to learn more and reserve your place today. This is your time. Answer your soul's call to reclaim your savage feminine power. Thank you for listening or watching the Thriver Lifestyle Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to stay inspired with new conversations each week. Your support means the world. Please share this episode with your community, whether it's your team at work or closest friends. Together, we can spread the message of embodied leadership, holistic wellness, and thriving as a collective. Follow me on social media for more insights and behind-the-scenes content. And if something resonated with you today, please leave a podcast review. It helps us get our message to even more people all around the world. Until next time, remember, you are powerful, you are divine, and you are meant to thrive. See you in the next episode.